some bonsai. Hopefully you can hear me. Hopefully this thing's recording. The home Wi-Fi. The home Wi-Fi is horrible. So hopefully you guys can hear me. I've got an unboxing straight from the United States to the United States. Thank you again, Eugene. Now we're gonna have to check Eugene on his wrapping. Hopefully this rod showed up unbroken. Because the last thing I need is another broken rod. Because let me fill you guys in. If you guys don't follow the channel, what is wrong with you? And for those of you that follow the channel, you know that I got lucky, right? I'm the luckiest person in the world. I got lucky. They shipped me a Karza 2, but it was a light. I ordered a medium light, so they sent me the medium light for free, basically, right? Or I got to keep the light for free. So I'm walking on cloud 9, right? That's a saying, right? Okay. Okay, we got it cut open. I was trying to stall while I cut this open. So, before I show you guys the actual rod I got, let me just show you what Cloud 9 did to me. So, the medium light, the rod I originally wanted, showed up. I took it out, I went fishing. Guess what? I can already recommend it. That is an awesome rod. Also had the, not the filling, it's called the Quick, but the 6'8" Lure Star rod called the Quick. I also recommend that rod, but it's $134. I gave $125. Now they're like $134 with shipping. But that's pretty cheap. That's a very nice quality rod blank. But this Karza 2 is no joke. But I will tell you the medium lights are, in my mind, they're almost out of BFS realm. I think the tool I keep talking about, a medium with the solid tip, is more capable of throwing down lower than the Karza 2 in the medium light or the Quick. It's kind of right there with the filling, which is a light or some of the other lights. But let's here. Oh boy, look at this. This 6'6" rod was actually doing real well up until the time that I, like a dummy, broke it. Nothing to do with the rod itself. Me pulling them out of the boat, I'm holding 8 rods in one hand, and somehow the tip didn't even get caught. Somewhere the line got caught on something on the boat, and it pulled, boom, and it snapped the... Yeah. Oh my gosh. You talk about somebody... I know technically it's free, but that's still like $75 just snapped because I was in a hurry to get them grabbed out of the boat. I don't know. Oh man, that happened a few days ago, and I'm still feeling it. But anyway, I can say that I do recommend that. And what I was thinking about using this one for was more for like those 3/8 ounce chatterbaits. Honestly, that's how stiff this rod felt. And I still have the Quick, which is actually as stiff as this roughly. And I'm thinking about turning it into, since I don't like the handle, I'm thinking about turning it into a jerkbait rod, because I think this would make a good jerkbait rod too, other than how long the handle is. If you guys are thinking about like an option for a shorter jerkbait rod than a 6'10", 6'6" in this medium light, because it's got enough give for those half-ounce jerkbait hooks, right? The treble hooks, but yet it's stiff enough of I think you can jerk it. I didn't get around to doing it with this one, but I'm going to try it with the other one and just see, because I'm thinking I'm going to turn that into, I think that'd make a good jerkbait rod. And I think this rod would have too. Will I order another one? I don't really know for sure. But what I did find out, and you guys are going to see in an upcoming video, I can't give it away. Okay, I'll give it away. I caught a giant bass on the Karza 2 light. I'm not going to tell you how big. I'm not going to give that away. Wait for the video. That thing is big. And that little light rod, it kind of was a handful, but I felt pretty confident. 10-pound test. They don't recommend it for a 10-pound test. What does it say? Line? Yeah, it does. It says 5. Is that right? 5 to 10-pound test. Yeah, 3 to 10 grams. Let me show you so you'll see. That's the Karza 2 light. I recommend this rod for sure. They call it, the length is 191 centimeters. Line weight 5 to 10 pound. Lure weight 3 to 10 grams. Action medium fast. And it's pretty much Yeah, medium. I'd almost call it fast, but it's definitely a very good little capable rod that is kind of like the Teton. It can handle big stuff, and it can handle like it'll go lower than what it says on the 3 to 10 grams. I would think I would not have a problem with like say the lingle, which I have on it now, throwing a 2 gram crappie jig. I could go crappie fishing basically with this rod, and as long as they're decent little crappie, it would kind of be fun to crappie fish. Yet wait until you see the giant I caught. It can handle some high-end upper bass stuff. That's an awesome little rod for, I want to say I gave $71 or 75 for the medium light, and I think the light was 71 at the time. And another quick thing, and I know my videos are never quick, but we're only 6 minutes in. The link I shared where I got mine, and I do recommend them because the guy, they were pretty cool, and they shipped me another one. But if you are really penny pinching and you want the cheapest rod possible, you can find the Karza 2 on other, just, look up on AliExpress, Karza 2. There's another store selling it for the price that I was paying on a Kuying official store, where I shared the link when I did the unboxing on the, actually it was supposed to be the medium light, but the light showed up. So look for that, or just go to AliExpress, put in Karza 2 Kuying, basically this right here. Now I put in Karza with the 2, one word, like a number 2, not those Roman numerals. And then you can put Kuying in if you want, but usually just Karza 2 and they pop up. They do make a Karza 3. It looks nothing like this. It's like a blue rod, a lot more money. But those Karza 2s, they're pretty much legit. So medium light, light. Now switching gears, going back to ultralight. And I really, honestly, these medium lights, I kind of take them out of what I consider even BFS stuff. We have, thanks to Eugene, thanks again, did I already thank Eugene? What did Eugene, you didn't send me any presents, Eugene. No, Eugene gave me a deal on this rod, otherwise I wouldn't even have bought it. I didn't really even plan on buying it. But that one right there, everybody wants this. I think they're like $140 or $145 now. I'm not going to tell you what Eugene charged me. You guys will start crying. But let's hope it came in one piece. Let's hope I don't break it. Jeez, I'm having some luck here lately. I'm having some luck. Let's make sure the tip in. Wow, that tip is freaking skinny. I think that's the skinniest tip I've ever seen. Jeez, I'm going to snap that like a twig. Oh my God. Do not, if you're a guy that goes to the gym, do not buy this rod. This looks like, oh my God, it looks like a toothpick. I think I've got toothpicks that are thicker than that. Oh boy. That is a very, oh yeah. I might try to sell this to Charles before I even fish it. So Eugene sold me this. Got a deal on it. If I do decide to keep this, because the first thing when I saw this rod way back in the day, it definitely needs a green reel, right? Yeah, the Airstream Custom, I know, like that green pops up. It's like I put the Airstream Custom on this. It might be game over, right? But I don't go to the creeks and streams enough. I definitely will not be taking this one. Because if you guys haven't noticed, the ones I call my favorites, I take them, even though they're my creek and stream combos, I take them everywhere with me. And I'm kind of into beating them up. Might end up breaking them too, like I did this Karza 2. But let me get a feel of that. Wow, that is no joke. That is no joke. This is a freaking light. Definitely lighter. I do have the Teton, what is that, the 532 or something like that? Which is a very good, nice, I did break that one though. I fixed it, but I broke that rod too, using 10-pound test like a dummy. So this one is rated, hang on, let me turn it. I do like this rod, it looks good. I don't like this. What in the world were they? And this is one of the, I think they've changed it, made it a little bigger. I think this is one of the original ones. Look at that little, expect me to cast with that. I don't even have a reel off right at the moment to Actually, this is basically the same thing as Airstream Custom. Weight is probably real close too, because this has aluminum gears. I think does the Airstream have brass? So this will give me an idea overall. I think, well, it's a little tip heavy because there's nothing back here. But honestly, I think if I kept this for like, I really liked it and I want to fish with it, you know me, I think I would peel that stuff right off. Yeah, you guessed it. I'd grab one of those, the cork that I can get for like $3.50. It's got the black on each end. Slap one of those right on there. Then we're in business. Probably just that cork handle on there would be all the weight I needed for it to feel balanced. So yeah, I'll probably just be careful with this, take it out, try it. And before I mess with this, I may end up, I don't know. I'm just gonna have to try it. And if I really like it that much better, then you guys have seen me with the rainy stream and the because I kind of like a little bit stiffer ultralight in the tip, like the I like the well I've showed you guys if you watch those videos where the bend in the rod. Because the bait I throw, the smallest thing I throw, I don't have a good one up here, but you guys have seen it. The little I call them jelly beans. That's the smallest, lightest thing I throw on the little creeks and streams because we end up going out there, or when I'm crappie fishing, it never fails, especially with bait casting reels because they tend to have a higher speed ratio. I always end up with like an 1/8 ounce jig head and then a little swim bait thing for crappie. And then at the little creeks and streams, I'm using like those, even those little flashback minnow chatterbaits and stuff like that, and even a TRD. I kind of can catch fish, and so I don't know. We'll just have to see though. But Eugene, he gave me made me an offer I couldn't refuse, so I bought it from him. And Eugene bought this back when the Real Test bought his, and was recommending all that stuff. Eugene bought him an Aldebaran and this rod, and I think Eugene realized that this is probably a little too soft and delicate for him also. Because I ain't gonna lie, it's kind of like a bull in the china closet when I get out there fishing sometimes. I gotta have something a little bit, with a little bit of strength to it. Not saying this one doesn't, but man, that tip is so thin. I definitely will have to keep it by itself. I can't just grab it with my other 5 or 6 rods and, kind of how I've been treating my rainy stream and the streamer. I like that ultralight streamer. That's, I guess, another one you guys have been, I did the unboxing. I have fished with it, and I actually like it. And here's the thing, though. The Silver Creek, hang on, let me set this somewhere where it won't get hurt. And I'll just go grab those, and we'll talk. Let's just talk about all of it real quick. I'll be right back. So, let's just set them all out here. If you are familiar with Bass and Bonsai, you know by now that is my favorite ultralight rod and reel combo. Kuying Rainy Stream, Airstream Custom, right? I've done a little bit of customizing. I added the drag clicker and the drag star and of course the single lifestyle handle. But I just love that, how it works. You guys know the deal with the Silver Creek. I've been waiting on this rod to show up, and guess what? It does go together real well, same capabilities. The rod's probably a touch stiffer than it needs to be, but with the capabilities of this reel, I was out doing a little testing. It was kind of windy, and so I didn't make any like live videos or nothing on it. But I will say that this reel on this rod can slightly outcast this reel on this rod. But when I'm out on the water fishing, guess which one's my favorite still? That one. It just, That rod's a little lighter, and it just, I don't know, it's just, that is still my favorite. This one's right there, and I do not plan on getting rid of this rod for sure. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm tempted. I just can't make myself 100% like that reel, and I think it's the same reason. If you guys remember the clamber that Charles has, and the original Airstream Custom, or the original Alphas, the Alphas Air TW or whatever, the first one of this variant came out. Those little narrow spools, I don't know what it is about them. I guess because my thumb doesn't really fit in there right. They're so narrow that bigger feeling reel, I can't explain it. And then when I palm, my thumb actually, if I don't pay attention to where I grab it, my thumb will set to where this, I can feel that, like tickling my thumb as I'm winding. And so I just don't know if I can make myself like that reel. I think it is after going out and testing them. The Silver Creek will outperform this reel when you get down into that, like that bait I was just holding up, wherever it went, that I buried under there. So like this little dude, and of course the trout magnet, I think that dude does have him beat. I think any of these variants that you got, the Gecko Pigeon, I call it Geico Pigeon, the Alphas Air TW, this reel, are the best for the trout magnet. I don't think they can be touched. But then when you get up there and you start throwing other stuff, this one still is kind of a one-trick pony. I can only get enough 6-pound braid for, you know, the distance I'm looking for. So it limits it a little bit, but not for ultralight. For ultralight, I can pretty much go with anything. Kind of with these, though, you can kind of do that. But the old original Alphas, I can't get myself to like the newer version better than this older version anyway. I think these are better than like and definitely way more capable for your ultralight BFS fishing than any of the other Alphas variants other than this, the last one they made, which was made for the little like trout, you know, stream kind of thing, Airstream Custom, right? So I'm not going to give up on it, but I'm tempted to try to sell this or trade this and get another one of these and maybe put on this rod. And then I don't know what I'll do with this. Maybe put a Dark Wolf Ultra on it, because the Dark Wolf Ultra would look good on there too. I don't know. I may just leave it alone like this. So that's what's kind of going on in my mind, if you guys are kind of wondering. Not that anybody really wants to know what's going on in my mind. Well, maybe you do. I don't know. But this baby, I did switch out the knob. I couldn't believe it. The tolerances were so tight on, let me grab it and I'll show you. See this thing right here now, it's kind of cool. I got the air on down here. It spins free. That's like there is no play. It spins pretty free, right? As soon as you get out in hot weather, it seizes up. So I need to either redo that or whatever, but I just switched and put wherever it went to. I just put a real cork, which I think I kind of like better. That's the old original OG cork knob from Daiwa, and that's a Daiwa handle. That's a Daiwa handle with a aftermarket knob in, and I don't even remember where I originally got these corks from. They got a little bit of the press cork, kind of a matching thing. It's a little rougher right now than this, but excellent combo. Still to date, I will tell you that my favorite, I don't have a change, but I will tell you this. My favorite ultralight, as far as it is just as capable as that may get a few more feet, but they're right there, just as capable one as the other, as far as what they can cast, what they can handle fish-wise roughly. And my favorite light is still that Corrado BFS XG on the same streamer, but in a light, not an ultralight. It's a 5'8". This is 5'5" ultralight. But I do have a more capable, I think even more so than the light streamer or even the 6'6" Teton, and it's this Karza 2 in the 6'3", because it's a touch overall stiffer. Like, and Jay, I thank Jay again. Jay's just a subscriber. Jay comments all the time on the channel. Thank you very much, Jay, for commenting and recommending the Karza 2, because that 6'3", it's just like a step up from the shorter lights, and not a huge step over the ultralights. Like, you can still get kind of low, but as far as having a light that is fun to catch little fish, and as you're going to see, I know I've mentioned it a few times, that video is coming. Hopefully I get it out by this week. I got a bunch of videos still to edit and get out. Caught a giant on that rod, and wait till you guys see the footage. But for the price, the Karza 2 is the, you can still find it. It's still cheaper by a couple dollars than a 6'6" Teton, and it's like $10 cheaper than the streamer. Now, looks and overall just fun fishing, you can't beat these streamer rods, man. They're just fun. If you're looking for just what I still feel is like my coolest rod period, is this rod right here. It's a $200 rod from AliExpress, so you're kind of taking your chances, you know. But man, that rainy stream, I love that rod for ultralight. Just look, check back in the videos, you'll see I did a little test on the flex of it and all that, but awesome rod. So anyway, be looking forward to just getting out fishing more. I'll try this out, let you guys know what I know. It's definitely way capable, but that's kind of like the look at that little, oh my god, I'm afraid to even like touch it and start to flex it, because I'm afraid it's gonna snap. It's so thin. I can't wait to get out there though and see what, and I'll probably have to break out a new one too though. I may do a little shootout, and we'll put our ultralight reels back on. We'll take the Dark Wolf Ultra, the Silver Creek, the Airstream Custom, and I may slap the spool back in the, because I think I still have the Chameleon spool for the Zillion with 6-pound test on it, just like these reels have. And we may do a little shootout again with this rod and see how far. First of all, we'll just see how far we can cast a trout magnet and see which one casts the furthest and seems the easiest. As of right now, I'm pretty sure that guy will beat him, but I'm telling you, that Chameleon spool in the Zillion will probably beat in distance this one, but when you're doing a little pitching and flipping sidearm stuff, it gets weird, it gets wild, and this stays controlled. That's why this is probably just a, I guess I could almost call it that's going to be the overall winner. If I even do that shootout, I may just stick one on it and just try it, let you guys see what I think of that. And we'll put it up against my favorite, just to see, you know, how much further can what is considered the best ultralight BFS rod, how much further can it cast a trout magnet than my Rainy Stream? You know, with the same reel, same, it'll be 6-pound braid. I don't get down to that 2 and 4 and 6-pound mono or fluorocarbon stuff. And I'm tempted to get away from, I don't know, maybe this is a perfect thing. You can see it if I can get up there. And you guys comment if you found a braid that's 6 or 8 strand braid, 6-pound test, that doesn't do that ribboning. Let me see if I can get that to focus. Do you guys see how that, it just starts like twisting itself up. Looks like ribbon material or something. It still kind of works, but I'm not really fond of that. I love the 10-pound test that I've tried in all these AliExpress brands. And I had I bought a used reel, and somebody had oh, I can't remember his name now, sorry. I want to say Suffix 832, that camo blue was 6-pound, and it was the same way. It had that weird ribbony thing to it, and I didn't really like that line either. And I think that's why everybody watch Obi-Wan Kenobi, and a lot of these guys that are using that thin braid, they've gone to the, is it Varivis or whatever brand that everybody's going back to 4-strand, because a 4-strand, it's just as strong, but in 4 strands, it's just way it is, and it doesn't do that ribbony stuff, and I think it actually works better than the 8-strand in 6-pound once you get in that lower test. So anyway, yeah, be looking forward to all that, testing all that stuff out, probably testing the the quick rod to see if where I find it, what I like it for, and that kind of stuff. If you guys are interested in spending a little more money, you're definitely getting a better blank, than the Karza 2s. But honestly, don't know if you're going to gain any fishing performance capabilities, what you can go out and throw with that rod over the Karza 2. The Lure Star rods, I like them better overall, but they are like twice the money. Ozzy B. Wild says he likes the Kingdom Microfly lot. So I'm taking that's a braid, I guess. They even released a mono. BFS Profit says I need to upgrade the spool on my Airstream. On the Airstream? What's wrong with the spool on the Airstream? Airstream Custom? I love that spool. You talking about a Roro spool or something? I think that one, everything I do anyway, it does just fine. I kind of wish they had that spool in a... I don't even think a wider spool. I think it's just that, look, my thumb does not fit in there. The Lingle's close, and it's about... Actually, the Alphas, I think, is a little wider than the Lingle. So, I don't know. I'll be honest. At the moment, I got the old school Alphas. I do not like the old school Zillions or TDZs, but the new Zillion, not the new Alphas, the old Alphas and the new Zillion are probably right there my two favorite Daiwa stuff. And then that Corrado. I'm thinking about getting a Scorpion BFS, but that Corrado BFS is definitely my favorite Shimano of all time, even over my Aldebaran that I had. Just because of, one, price, it's cheaper, and it, for what I use it for, like I feel the Aldebaran was a good all-around, but with the stock spool, it really wasn't down in here in true ultralight. It can get there, but not much better than what the Corrado could, really. It took you to put a chameleon spool in it to kind of get close, or aftermarket spool. I know there's ones better than the chameleon spool. That's just what I had. But as far as stock capabilities, I feel that for the price difference, it wasn't a lot better than the Corrado, and it always had an extra noise that I didn't like. So anyway, make yourself use Flora with BFS. No, I've already tried. I've had my fluorocarbon days. I will not be using fluorocarbon for anything. Maybe to floss my teeth with. Possibly, maybe not even that. But no, I'll tell you real quick, just so you guys, I guess, will understand why I don't like it. I'm the guy that goes out and I will literally not be paying attention when I cast. Seriously. I will literally be looking to, you guys see me out fishing with Emily, with Charles, other people. I'll look totally away. I'll make obnoxious, crazy cast, backlash, do stupid stuff. It's not the reel's fault, or it's my fault. And braid just, I've literally have wind knots, whatever I can pull out, and the braid doesn't get weak. I've all kinds of stuff. In my brief time fishing with fluorocarbon, all it takes fluorocarbon to do is make this little twist, and fluorocarbon kinks, and it'll break. I don't know what the strength rating drop is, but you get one little kink in fluorocarbon, and you literally went from, say if it was 10 pound, you went to probably 5 or maybe less. I mean, I cannot believe just how I've had horrible luck when I did use fluorocarbon. I would probably, if I, say they quit making braid, they outlawed it, banned it, or whatever, I would definitely go to, if they didn't have copolymer would be my choice. But say fluorocarbon or mono, I would fish monofilament over fluorocarbon all day long, because mono will take just a little more, I guess, rough abuse, not necessarily banging off, trees and grass and stuff like that, but I guess backlash abuse in my mind. So I will not be using fluorocarbon. I use braid to which I've stuck for several years now. P-line original. I love that line. When it breaks, it's because I'm a dummy and I did not check the knot. I can't remember the last time I checked the knot, and I've wrapped it around trees and I've done all kinds of stupid stuff, and I've caught like 10 fish, and then I break off and I'm like, I'm a dummy. And it's kind of because it gets you spoiled. It goes so long, and it's such a strong line. But if you guys haven't tried P-Line Original, Tackle Warehouse, only place I've ever found it, and I'm pretty sure they still have it. But I don't know if they still make it or what's going on. But I think over the years, there's only certain size spools you can get now. I know at one time they had like everything from that little small like a filler type thing to the big bulk and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I could see like, and I tend to use my rods for everything, and that's why I've kind of gone to a copolymer, whether a mono or a fluoro, because I don't want it to necessarily float or sink. I just want it to be there, kind of like the braid. It's just in the water. It's not necessarily floating, and it's not heavy sinking like fluoro. If I really ever did, and I probably should now that I got so many rods gathering up and reels, that I should probably make specific combos for specific bottom. But you guys have seen me. I'll have the lingle on the Tatula rod, and I'll be throwing zinkers with it 1 minute, and then I might tie on a topwater bait or do something stupid with it the next. And so if I had fluoro on, and then I'm trying to work a topwater, and the fluoro's wanting to pull the topwater bait down, it's just kind of why I don't. As I said, Kingdom Microfly Braid, Special BFS Braid. I'm going to have to try that. I'm taking it, you can get it from AliExpress, right? Kingdom Microfly. Kingdom sounds like a familiar name off AliExpress. I see Charles finally joined watching the video. Charles Hunziker, who I fish with, says he never watches any of my videos. He must be bored. But yeah, Joseph Grossman said, make yourself use fluoro with BFS. I know, that's what a lot of guys say. I just can't. And the main other reason is everything else other than braid just wants to poof off the spools. Like, I want a trouble-free experience. So I found braid to a leader, P-Line Original, and I use snaps, but I try to make sure that I've got the right size for roughly whatever rod. If I'm ultralight, I want a little bitty. These 6-pound ones, I use the smallest snaps I can get. 10-pound, I use the next size, and then sometimes with 10-pound, but on a bigger rod, I may use even a little bit bigger snap. I'm gonna be throwing a little bit bigger baits, and then on my 15-pound test, and that's all I use. I use 6, 10, and 15. I keep that simple too. I don't want a bunch of different spools and wondering what's on it. I can look and go, that's 6. I can look and go, that's 10. I can look and go, that's 15. Because there for a while I was using 6, 8, and 10, and it's like when they're all there, it's hard to tell the 8 from the 6 and this 8 from the 10 and all that. So I've kind of just went 6, and there for a while I went just 10 and 15. That's all I use. But now that I'm getting a little more in-depth into the ultralight side of it, hitting the little creeks and streams, I've gone to 6 on these ultralights. But I try, and I know you're thinking, dude, I've seen your shows, you don't keep anything simple. The way my mind works, that's simple. I can get way more down a rabbit hole than you probably ever thought about somebody getting down a rabbit hole. You start really putting a lot in thought into some of this stuff. Anyway, typical me video. I was trying to keep it under 20 minutes. Now it's the 34-minute video. I was trying to keep it under 30. We're just going and going. Your explanation why true BFS is not truly your cup of tea. Well, see, that's the thing, though. You're calling, what's true BFS? Well, what is true BFS? I'm with you. True BFS, if I'm not sure what it even is probably not my cup of tea. I use BFS equipment to fish for bass mainly. Now, I'll go pan fishing and different stuff, but I don't put it in this little box and it has to be this. I do everything. I've got BFS rod and reels. You may see me take a BFS, considered BFS reel. I may slap it on a rod, uh, and if that hold 10-pound test, and I mean maybe throwing real big heavy baits, then I may go down to a little bitty bait and all around. So like, I'm all over the place. But I think you got guys that fish in the little creeks and streams that have their version of BFS, and then you got guys that, whether they're bank fishing or in little boats, they're not tournament guys. They've got their definition of BFS. And if you guys have ever watched Tactical Bass, and they've got a whole different version of BFS, they're still throwing baits that a lot of you guys wouldn't even consider BFS on what Americans are typically going to be doing. They're going to have that Dobbins or some of the JDM medium lights, or even some of the lights that are so stiff and so long. And they're throwing pretty big stuff that a true BFS guy would be like, that's not BFS. And then there's power BFS that it's not really a thing, but I like to say it, and I'll call some stuff power BFS stuff. But yeah, I get it. It's all to each their own. Buy your rods and reels, call it whatever you want when you're out there fishing. Tournament fishing is unwatchable. Yeah, I kind of agree, but I mean, I like some of the tournament guys. It's kind of like football to me, tournament bass fishing. I'll be honest, I'm not a huge fan of football nowadays. There's still players, and I watch football games. Chiefs, of course, Kansas City Chiefs, right? KC. But the tournaments, I don't know. Because I've commented about it before. It's just the gear and the stuff that everybody uses nowadays is so freaking long and heavy and stout that to be a tournament guy, right? You got to be able to flip 5-pounders into your bass boat. Well, what about, like, how often are you out catching 5-pound bass? So your pound bass, your 2-pound bass, like, is there any sport? Like, I consider fishing, for me, it's like a sport, right? It's the sport of going out trying to catch fish, kind of giving them a fighting chance, right? I'm wanting to use. I don't go crazy. Like I said, I'm kind of rough on my stuff. So 6-pound test is basically my 1 or 2 pound test to a guy that's all methodical, reties every fish and all that kind of stuff. Because I probably get out there and probably halfway through the day I'm fishing with 2-pound test. I just don't know it. But that kind of thing, I like to, you know, go a little over on the line because I just like to, which you guys will see when the video where I do catch the giant on this little Karza 2. It's kind of giving that fish a chance to snap me off. I am fishing with 10-pound test, and I didn't, I couldn't have told you when the last time I checked that line was before I hooked into that fish. But drag was set about right, and I think I did not have the lingle on it. I just stuck the lingle on. I had the Zillion was on this rod with its SV boost spool, which makes plenty capable. That SV boost spool, I'm telling you guys, it's an awesome spool. You can cast pretty low when it's on a rod like that Karza 2. But yeah, I don't really. I mean, I fish to catch fish. I fish to have fun, which catching fish, which I've said it a few times, is kind of like my motto now. Catch biggest fish on the smallest rod possible. Now, when there's a 1/2 ounce chatterbait bite on, I'm throwing that 13 fishing 6'7". It's rated as a medium. I consider it more like a medium heavy. And if I need to start flipping and pitching something heavy, and that's the only way to catch them, I don't have that rod anymore. Who did I sell that rod to? I don't know. I had a heavy action rod, for that crazy stuff that if I have to go there, I will. But I like doing. That's why I take these two ultralights out when I can get those and start getting those in action with these little flashback minnows and catching fish. You can ask Charles. Me and him fish together a lot. Yeah, and my drag is always loose. My drags are always way loose. And what's funny is that Corrado BFS, I swear I keep tightening that thing and I've never backed it off. And every time I fish it, I think I tighten it another notch or two. I almost swear those break things. Tinkles and the zillions, I'm always switching them on different rod and reels, and so I'm adjusting it. And the zillion, I'll put 15 pound on it one weekend, next weekend back to 10. So I'm always messing with that drag. But some of these reels, I know I usually have too loose a drag, which is true. But what's funny is the what was I gonna say? As Charles can vouch for me, when I'm like, oh man, that drag's loose, that fish usually makes it to the boat, and I look at it, throw it back in the water. It's the, just ooh. When I don't even comment about the drag is typically when I'll lose a fish. So anyway, anybody else with any questions? But as far as tournament guys, I don't think Charles likes tournament guys much either. But like if you guys remember Matt's been on the channel. He's starting to do tournaments and stuff. He's got a bigger bass boat. As far as the big name tournament guys, I've always watched Scott Martin. I always watched Roland Martin. He talked me into helicopter lure. That's when I was young and dumb. Do not buy a helicopter lure from Roland Martin. But I like Scott Martin. There's a few others. They're, but it's a thing. They got a machine going, right? They've got to sell what's the biggest, baddest stuff out there. But the typical guy going out fishing, really, other than some of the baits, the rod and reels that are out there on the market, most of them rods are overkill for what size fish that they're going to be catching. And they'd have a lot more fun if they get on, not just my channel, but somewhere where guys are using just a lot more fun way of fishing for the bass than, going out in a big boat, buzzing up and down a lake and, just get off in a spot. And maybe the big bass aren't biting that day. Maybe you found a little spot of little ones and you can get them on the ultralight stuff. Now, I will leave fish to go find fish if I just get to that point where like, oh my, I'm tired of little ones. I know there should be big ones, if I'm in a spot. Also, as I'm going to get out of here, now we're 42 minutes in. Man, oh man. We did have some new spots coming up. On the video you'll see, me and Charles, we're kind of spoiled. I was getting ready to mention that to Charles. We went to a place because I watched Tactical Bassing today, and he went to a new spot, and I mean he did all right, but me and Charles, it's the honey holes that Charles can set us up on. Because Charles, shout out to Charles. Charles, he knows a lot of good places to fish, and I've got several of my own. Charles probably has a few more spots than me. He lives down around that Clinton, Missouri area. We're spoiled. We went to a place, and I think we were there about an hour and a half. Brand new place, muddy. I think we caught 3 bass and a crappie, and we were like, let's go somewhere where we can really catch fish because, we probably could have had a decent day there. We were only a few hours into a full day of fishing, but we loaded up, and we went to another spot because we got so many spots. And that's one thing. I've been thinking about putting a whole video out on that. It's a good idea to have, and most of you older guys or just guys that have been fishing a while, if you're new to fishing, I would recommend, and it took me a while to kind of figure out, I would have multiple places and types of places to fish. Little creeks. Little creeks are awesome. Like me and Charles were just talking about this. Summertime, when there's less rain, they're going to be a little clearer water. It's going to be cool water. You're going to be hot. Get out there in that cool water. It's usually shaded around some of those places. Set your time up to fish those little creeks and streams. And even if you're not used to it, look around. There's probably a creek or stream around you that you can fish. And if it's real hot, 90 degrees plus, don't even use waders. Wade through find an old nasty pair of shoes or, whatever. If you got some water shoes or something, get out there and get, your feet wet to where it actually keep you cool while you're fishing in that extreme hot weather. We'll get out there and walk up and down a creek almost all day and never really, I wouldn't even say really break a sweat. maybe sweat a little bit, but 95-degree day, you're usually sweating a lot if you're out in a boat. But then have places that typically don't get muddy if it rains real hard, or all that kind of stuff, because that's what we've kind of done over the years of fishing. I'll have several places that are just able to pick by what the weather condition is, secluded places where the wind won't hit as much, because that's what we found so far this year has been the year of the wind so far. Half the places I would like to be out fishing, and there's a video, I think I just released it today, where I was out there fishing, and the second part I actually did better. Be looking forward to it. Sound of Silence, I did in the middle of the one where I did okay, but I actually did better on another video. Be coming out hopefully tomorrow. But it was crazy windy, and it was cold. That was just not this last weekend, the weekend before. This last weekend, leading up to it, we had a whole week of like 90, 95-degree days, and the water temps jumped up 20 degrees, and me and Charles are out there hot and sweating, to where the week before I could barely feel my fingers, and that's how it's changed right here in the Midwest. So have multiple fishing spots to go hit would be like one of my biggest things. If you're a beginner to fishing, track down different spots. Maybe you need to hit them from the bank, a little boat, have a buddy that's got a big boat, hit a bigger body of water, have all those things lined up, and kind of watch the weather week to week, plan ahead to where you're going to go fishing to have the most fun and chance to catch the most fish. Not necessarily the biggest fish, but to have fun doing it. All right, I got to get out of here before we have it any longer. I got to go take a shower. Yeah, I got to get cleaned up. You guys can't smell me, but I'm sure the neighbors can. You never take me to your honey holes. You're right. I don't. That's why I can still catch giants on my Carza 2, Charles. Now you have to come up. What's funny is my newest honey hole so far this year that I've hit twice, and I've caught giants every time I've went, sucked the last couple years. It just, sometimes they recycle back around and the bite is off, and then you get onto them. I can't say that. The year before they were awesome. Last year it kind of sucked. It's one of those places that's tough to fish until you start to figure them out, and it will change. But I got on them the last 2 weeks that I've hit that place. Yeah, if you guys don't know, Charles, I've went down fishing with him every time. He hasn't come up to any of my honey holes yet. But yeah, we'll figure it out, Charles. Don't worry. Don't worry about it, buddy. We'll get it figured out. Charles going to Montana this weekend, so I'll be fishing somewhere, probably by myself. And if you guys comment in this video, if you guys remember Emily, I've tried to get that girl to come fishing with us and bring back Precious, which was basically this reel with a bunch of purple, onto the show. I want to say, maybe did she tell me that a kid stepped on the shading X and cracked it or broke it or something? I can't remember, but I need to try to talk her into a filling rod. I think the filling rod is probably the closest to the Megabass Shading X that she would find that's a fairly affordable. She don't want to buy another Shading X. Trust me, those things have gotten outrageously priced. But yeah, Emily's got Alpha Zito AI, which we call Precious, with all the purple, and also the Zondo Rosso I let her have too, because she liked the alphas. I was kind of out of the alphas, but now I kind of like the alphas, especially with this dude popping back in the picture. So, I don't know. We'll get her back on the show. I might be able to talk her into trading the newest, greatest thing for both of those other reels back. Because, right? That's what she needs. Nah, she don't need that. She wouldn't be able to fish. She's like me. She's a little rough on stuff. She wouldn't be able to fish with 6-pound test. I think she uses 10 too. Alright guys, thanks for watching. I will be back with another live video this week. I'm not sure when, but I got a bunch of videos coming out. We got, you guys saw the Sound of Silence. I got to finish up to that muddy one. Me and Charles went out, and we got on them pretty good. I don't even remember. What did we do, Charles? Do you remember? Me and Charles are getting old. We hit a new place. We tried to hit the new place you guys saw us fishing in the bank, but for some reason grass grew up there. So we went to the new place, which was flooded, caught a few, abandoned ship. Then we went and actually did real good at technically a third spot we went to. Then I went the next day, and it was game on. Some top water and the giant on the Karza 2 light. Stay tuned for that. Should I put a video out just for that giant, just so you guys can see it sooner? Because if not, you got 1, 2, 3, 4. It's about 5 videos away before I make it to the giant. Yep. Thank you very much. Also, Ozzy B. Wild for watching and chiming in. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Joseph. Is that all that was on here? But yeah, thank you guys very much for commenting and joining in. Also, BFS Profit. That's right. I was talking at the beginning. And Jay and HP are probably asleep. I think they're older than me. They're probably already in bed. All right, guys. Get out. Go bath some bonsai. But whatever you do, make sure you have fun doing it. I'm going to have fun taking a shower.